Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Stampin' Live from the makeshift hive is happening now, girls and boys. So it feels like I just was with you yesterday for the mystery card night. So, did you guys join me last night for that? Give me a shout out if you did. I want to see from you and hear from you. Did you have fun? I have seen quite a few of your cards coming through on the thread for the event, and I'll tell you, girls, for as worried as some of you were about this, you girls and guys rocked it. So good job. Oh my gosh. So let's see who's here with us. I don't know if anybody's on yet. It is a nice Thursday night and the weather here is amazing. It's cooled off just a little bit. And I'll tell you, I have some fabulous helpers. So I'm setting up for a used stamp sale tomorrow, and I'm gonna see once if we're actually, oh, there it is, Sandy's here, yay. So Sandy, thank you. I was just starting to wonder if my technology was bad and I wasn't really live on Facebook. So I'm so happy your comment came through. So you joined us last night, yay. So, oh my gosh, it was so much fun. I'm so proud and happy to see all the different cards that people were posting on the thread. And some people asked when the last time you can post for the contest, so I'm doing a drawing. And I think for like every 25 cards that are published, or maybe 20 to 25, I'll do a drawing for a prize. Like I have some different ribbon threads, some Misty Moonlight ribbon here. I accidentally ordered a few extra. So, so I think I'm going to give everybody till Wednesday, because then Wednesday night before I go to bed, I'll go through the list of people and get everybody's names jotted down, and we'll do the drawing live after my class next Thursday. So, hey, Kathy. You are getting good, Kathy. You are here. You found the Facebook Live, and you're here before we even get rolling, basically. So that's awesome. Hi, Angela. I thought you would be at work tonight. So maybe you're catching me for a second before in between a break. So happy you could be here. So Angela, thank you so much for taking this class with me. I had, I think, 8 gals, Jennifer and Mary Carls. Jennifer, I'm not sure what your married or name is, your last name is now, but I always know her as Jennifer Carls and Mary Carls. Thank you so much for joining my class. I'm trying to think here, Diane Bogenhagen, thank you. I knew you couldn't make the in-person class, so you did the online this time. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Arliss. Bonnie, you're watching too. So I think, Bonnie, you just texted me. I think, Bonnie, you're set up for next week, Wednesday, to do this live. So I'm pretty sure. So, but I don't have my sheet in front of me, and I can take a look later on to know for sure. So, like, I have a sign-up sheet, and that is my Bible. So, yay! Hi, Brenda. Thanks for joining. So, oh my gosh, girls, I'll tell you, it's a hectic always in my life, more so now than ever. And the drywall was delivered today. While the electricians were here finishing up, we decided to put a few ceiling fans, 2 in the hive and 1 in the mudroom, so that if we wanted some extra airflow, that we would be good. So the electricians, they're amazing. His name is Brian, and hi, Susan. I told my boyfriend Tyler that I think Brian gets the MVP award for this entire project. He has been amazing throughout this whole project. He has his name is Brian Zarin, and he's out of Mount Calvary, and he has Zarin Electric. Phenomenal electrician if anybody's looking for one. Wow. You've been getting done at 5 because it's slow. Yeah. So good that you get to watch me then, Angela, but bad because you're not making money then if you're not working, right? To buy more stamps. So electrical got buttoned up today. I have more insulation to put in. Oh my gosh. Have you girls ever put insulation in a building? Give me a yes or a thumbs up or a love if you've done that before. It's a little bit of work, but if those bats are cut just right, it's just a matter of putting them up in the right spot, and then you squish them all the way in. It's like, I always thought that insulation was a nasty job, and apparently back in the day, it used to be when it was fiberglass, and now whatever I got is more like cotton. it looks like wool's, like wool's fur, niffle, like a lamb's fur coat. It's all brown and fluffy and squishy, and it did not make you itchy whatsoever. So yes, progress. So the finish line is right, Brenda. Oh my gosh, you girls, I don't know. Like, there's gonna be one big ass party in here. Sorry for my French. Yes, it's gonna be one big party in here when this is all done. I cannot wait to share it with everybody. But the drywallers are set to start on Tuesday, and I have a very, very long list of stuff to get done before Tuesday. Poor Tyler. So, oh my goodness. So, but that's a little bit about that. And oh my gosh, if you girls are local to me in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and local is your definition of how far you want to drive, I have a used stamp sale tomorrow. I took vacation and we just got finished setting up for the stamp sale. I'm going to be posting pictures on my Cards by Christine page tonight, but I think I'm counting. Can you see my eyes rolling? I'm counting. That's me counting. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 or 11 tables full of stamping, scrapbooking, crafting stuff. Like full. My new garage is having its first ever used stamp sale in it. So hi Jean, hi Ruth, hi Diane. So I had some wonderful, fabulous ladies here this afternoon helping me set up. Oh my gosh, we were done in about 2.5 hours. So I did work this week, Kathy, and I'm taking vacation. I'm on vacation now. I'm on vacation tomorrow for the used stamp sale. And then if we're not done with everything that needs to be done for drywall, I've already forewarned my boss that I may be taking vacation on Monday. So we'll see. But oh my gosh, I had some fabulous helpers over this afternoon, and I've got wonderful helpers helping me tomorrow. The sale starts at 7 a.m. and it goes until about 5:30, 6-ish. It just depends on how busy it is. So I'm sorry, Kathy. I don't mean to kill you because I know you really badly want to come to the stamp sale and you're doing everything you can to avoid and not come because you're being a good girl. I know. So, I don't mean to tease, but okay, if you're local though and it works for you to come down, I would love for you to join me tomorrow anytime. If people want to wear masks, they're welcome to, or gloves, however you want to do it so that you feel safe. I'm good with whatever you want. So, but I have lots of stuff. Lots of it. So I can't wait to sell some of it. And then what's happening after this sale is everybody's picking up their stuff. So I have been housing this stuff in my house, in my basement, where my classroom is under the tables. And now that the she shed is happening and I'm moving our Safer Stamping Together area out into the new hive, I don't have room for everybody's stuff. Sorry, girls. So I'm going to be contacting you to pick up your stuff. Okay? So, Sandy, you're a hoarder. Okay. So you bring up a really good topic about being a hoarder. I don't call it hoarding. I call it collecting fine stampin' paraphernalia. Or scrapbooking, whatever you want to call it. You're a paper crafter. I live in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, Yolanda. So in the middle of, not necessarily the middle of Wisconsin, but the east side of Wisconsin, between Green Bay, Milwaukee, and Appleton. So Sandy, it's not called hoarding, it's called collecting. And there's a fine line. I mean, I've been stamping for 20 years, and I'll tell you, my house is a stamping house. Every room in my house is touched because I do so much with it. But I have to learn to let go of some things because I have honest and good belief. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, that Stampin' Up! Is going to come up with cool and new things that I want to have, and I have to, it's like clothes. You want to make room for the new because you want to feel fresh and good, right? So that's kind of how stamps are. You can't let them bog you down. And if you have the mentality, like me, if you have the mentality, I might need that in 20 years when I'm actually going to have time to use it, right? Or maybe even 5 years. But I can't live without it now because I never know when I'm going to use it, right? That's exactly my mindset. But you have to pick and choose, and let's say you haven't, my friends tell me all the time with clothes, if you haven't worn it in a year, you should throw it away. Well, girls, I have a dress from right out of college that I bought when I went on a trip to Germany, a little black dress, and it's classic. You know what? I wear it once every 5 years. I'm not going to get rid of it. No, right? So you just have to be smart and conscientious, that word, about your stuff. So anyways, I know. I wish everybody lived right here so you guys could all come over and enjoy the sale tomorrow. But yes, you know what Diane just said. Let someone else enjoy it if you don't think you're going to use it. Because I'll tell you, some people use other people's things. Oh, Mary, I'm so sorry your cards didn't arrive. I did mail them on Monday morning. I promise you, on that picture I sent you, I mailed them at about 8:15 Monday morning. And something happened with our post offices that they didn't connect good. I bet you that they show up tomorrow. And that's how it goes, a day late and $1 short. And I hope that they show up tomorrow. If for some reason they're not there by Saturday, give me a shout out and we'll figure something out. I'm not going to have you not get your card kits, but I'm thinking that they're caught up in the mail. I ordered something off of Amazon Prime 2 weeks ago, and I finally got an email after a week saying that it was lost. And so I ordered a replacement, and the replacement and this beat up package all arrived on the same day with my magnet sheets. So it happens, they get stuck. So, all right, girls. So just a note, you girls are awesome that have been commenting. I love interacting with you. So I appreciate comments. I like the hearts. I love the love signs. It helps me keep going and giving you a good class. So just make sure you like, comment, and share. I really do appreciate that. And then when I go through and do my drawings for people to win my cards that I make, I go back and I look who liked, commented, and shared. And that's who I have for the selection of people for winning my cards. So yay. So our list, you made 2 mystery cards. That's awesome. I had asked right when we started tonight who joined me for the mystery card making night. So we had a lot of fun. So August 31st, mark your calendars. So, oh, Lisa, you ordered something a month ago and it's still, you don't have it. Wow, that's a long time too. You know, and you have to understand, I don't know, Mary, with the postal service, that's kind of crazy because our postal service here never really seemed like it was affected by COVID, but honestly, a lot of things have gotten affected by COVID. So you gotta be patient and just go with the flow, right? So Yolanda, your first time. Yay, I'm gonna give you a thumbs up actually. So we're a great community of stampers here and the interaction that we have here is awesome. So I'm so happy that you joined us. So again, like, share, comment, and then also at the end of the class, I will be having an ordering special for potentially these kits that we're making tonight. I actually at this point have 3 extra sets of card kits. So if you get done with this and you're like, oh, I wish I could have put those cards together, I'll talk about that at the end of the class. So you are going to have so much of stamping products, you are going to be able to walk out your door. I know. You should have seen all the boxes. Oh, so Gina, my friend Gina's son came over with my mom and they helped take all this stuff up out of my house. So yeah. Oh, so yes. Okay, girls. So we're ready to stamp. So I do a live class every Thursday night. That was my commitment to you after we were done with our little COVID safer at home thing. So every Thursday night. So tonight is the monthly card class with me, Christine Bertram, and we're going to be making the July cards. And what I will do is, hi Anne, I will go through each of the cards and tell you what was used from these cards, or what was used in the making of these cards. And just know I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I have been selling Stampin' Up! Stuff, products, since 2013. I am an avid stamper, crafter, all that kind of stuff, and I love to inspire and help you be creative too. So I will go through and show you what I made, so if you have any questions, you can let me know. If you want to order anything, I am here to help you as well. So what should we do first? For you just shared Gary Cabela order from a minute. He got, yeah. Okay. So Cabela's has got their stuff together. So good job that came so quick. So, all right, we are going to start. Okay. What should we do? I have a whale. I'm going to flip down here, girls. I have a whale card. I have a cat card. And then I have the dandelion. I call this the weed card because dandelions are in essence a weed. So we're going to go with the whale first because I have that here. And so there is a story behind the whale, girls. So I went to Alaska. I actually earned the incentive trip for my very first time with Stampin' Up! And I went to Alaska as an incentive. And we went whale watching. So if any of you have done whale watching, you might get this. So the accent on this lady was really amazing, and it was just, we still say it to this day. But it's like, if you see tail, you see whale. If you don't see tail, that means no whale. But if you see the tail, even the little tip of the tail, you see a whale, and that counts as us seeing a whale. And that's kind of how she talked. I think she was Arabic, or I have to guess from Lebanon or somewhere in that neck of the woods. And her accent was so funny, and the whale and the tail. So honestly, I gotta tell that every time I see a whale, I think of that. So here's what we're concentrating on for this card. There is actually a whole suite of product, and it is the whale suite. And this is the paper. I'm trying to get my catalog open here, girls, so I can tell you real quick here. So pages, if you've got your catalog and you want to look at this with me, we're on pages 94 through 96. And so there's a whole suite in here. And I tried to use everything from the suite to make this card. So there's the bundle, there's sequins, there's the paper, an embossing folder, and the ribbon. And so the paper is all shown down here. It's all 6 by 6. And then here's the whale done stamp set, and there's a punch that goes with it. Okay, so I always have my little DSP sheets there. You can see all the different beautiful paper. So these are double-sided. So this is a sheet, and it's this on one side and that on the other, and these are all the different colors that coordinate with it. And so the piece of paper that I picked out for this card right here is actually this one with the little I call them dragon horses. They're seahorses or dragonflies, dragon horses. They look like dragon horses to me. So that's the piece of paper we used. And let's grab our kits. So I know, Angela, are you making your cards with me? Because you, I know, have your kits because you picked them up. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Pam. Both you girls, you joined right at the same time. So we have a piece of Pretty Peacock. It measures 8.5 by 5.5. It's your standard card base. And for those of you who got kits from me, oh, why the sad faces? I don't know why I got sad faces. Tell me. So I just looked up, I saw grumpy faces. So normally when you get a kit from me, you score it, or I score it for you. But I didn't do this on my sample, so I got to be careful just to make sure I get it lined up good. So what you're going to do is just line up your corners and then pull out your bone folder and burnish your edges like that. And that is your card base. So it's a traditional A2 size card base. Then what I have here for everybody, they're really pretty papers. Okay, this embossing folder is awesome. Honestly, I had this class for my club on Monday night. It's called Seabed. Oh, there it is. So look at that. It's got seaweed and different nautical ocean furnage down there. That's my lingo, girls. There's a little starfish down here. And honestly, you wouldn't necessarily know this is under the sea stuff, and you could use this as a really cool background for anything. So this one right here, that measures 4 by 5.25. And it is on a piece of balmy blue paper. So with this designer series paper, I originally had Pool Party, and Pool Party didn't complement it so well. And so I actually did balmy blue with it. So this piece of designer series paper is 1.5 by 5.25. The reason I did it at 1.5 is because this designer paper comes 6 by 6. So you would get 4 out of them. If you did this at 1 3/4, or 2 inches, you would only get 3 out of there. So here you go. That is what's going to get glued onto here. And grab your liquid glue. And I'm going to make sure I have some here. And I'm just going to adhere the piece of designer series paper and make sure that your dragon horses, your seahorses, are facing the right way. You don't want to glue them upside down. If you do, you're just going to put your card a different way. So with the liquid glue, you just need a couple seconds for it to adhere to the piece of paper on the bottom. When you get card kits from me, I generally like to make sure that the designer series paper is at least to the paper below or a hair longer, because I'd rather have it too long than too short. So when it is too long, it's not by accident. You would just need to lightly trim off the bottom edge there so that it's not hanging down weird. Then in your kit, you have a piece of balmy blue. This is 3/8 of an inch by 5.25. And the reason that I did this is because this is part of the suite product. It's the Pool Party. So this is actually Pool Party. It's Pool Party sheer, like organdy ribbon. And it's so sheer that when you put it down, you really kind of lose what color it is. And it is actually Pool Party, which isn't balmy blue. But when you put this over, you girls keep putting these sad faces through here. I don't know why, but this is fun stuff. When you put this on here, you see the seam and it looks kind of like unfinished to me. And so what I did to combat that is I put a piece of Balmy Blue over it, and then I put the ribbon over the top, and then you see the complete ribbon. The way it just looks prettier that way. So to adhere this, all I'm going to do is take a line of liquid glue and put it down the length of this, and be careful not to drop it, because if you drop it then you get glue everywhere. So I'm going to put this right over the seam, and it's going to hide the seam, and you would just want to make sure it's as straight as you can get it. And again, in this case, I have a little bit hanging over the edge, and I want to cut that off so that that's not in the way with my ribbon. So I grab my paper scissors, and then what we're gonna do is adhere this little bit of ribbon on here. Now I do not recommend trying to glue or tape from this, because this is kind of sheer ribbon. You'll definitely see any of the adhesive through it. So how I would do this is take a little bit of your tear-in tape, and honestly, if you have double-sided tape, that works too. Tear-in tape is a really permanent tape that Stampin' Up! Has to offer, and it comes with paper on it so that you could make it single-sided or double-sided. So what I did is I made it double-sided by peeling off that paper, and now what I do, God, my ribbon, it wants to run away from me. So now I'm going to line my ribbon up on the front, and I'm just going to flip my tail over so that it catches the tape on the back side. And then what I like to do is make myself a ribbon sandwich. Now you could just leave this when you put it down, but there's no glue technically here that when you put it on your card. And so what I like to do is put some more tape over the top of the ribbon. And I'll tell you girls, it really secures, and boys, it really secures the ribbon so that when you go to put this on your card front, you've tape now, really squishing your ribbon in. Yes, it is Balmy Blue. Kathy, you're right. And I'll take my glue now and just trace along the edge. I try not to go too close to the edge because I don't want it to ooze out the side. So grab your base, and now this is where it's important to open it up. Make sure you have your card facing the right way. At class, I had class today at work, and somebody put on, it was a pattern paper, and they put it on their card upside down, but the pattern paper didn't matter, so they got really lucky. So all right, so we have our base starting now, and we've got some layers on it. Now what I've got here is a piece of Pretty Peacock and a piece of Whisper White from Stampin' Up! These are cut out with some dies that are my favorites. Angela, we've got stitching, and they are called the Stitched Nested Labels dies. I know that's really hard to read in here, but this is what they look like, and the ones that I used are this size. And these are some of, like, if I have 5 dies to pick from that are in my top 5 favorite, these are in the top 5. I will be honest. And I think you girls can attest to that have been watching me for a while. Hi, Francie Freeberg. And so what I've done here is this is pretty much ready to go. So everybody that got kits from me, you have a white piece and you have a Pretty Peacock piece. And what you'll need to do is your stamping. So I know that this is a relatively new stamp set for some of you, and so you may not have the whale, you may not have the seaweed, so maybe it'll encourage you to get the stamp set if you want to make it exactly the same way. But if you don't have the stamps, you are more than welcome to change it up however you want. So I for some reason I stamped those out already, but I have the seaweed here, and I'm going to stamp this for you to show you how I did this. So this is what the stamps look like, and we're going to be using out of here the big whale, some of this seaweed, the little seahorse, the little fishies, and then there's different sayings. So there's thanks a ton, well done, and you're kind of a big deal, and all 3 of them fit in there. And I chose to put in here you're kind of a big deal. Hi, Jean. I hope you're feeling good. You're on the mend, I hope. So what we're going to do first is I already stamped this in Pretty Peacock. So you wouldn't think of it, but I did use Granny Apple Green for my seaweed, and you have to make sure that you stamp off. If you are at full strength like that it's super dark, and when you stamp at second strength, it's a little bit softer and lighter. So that is, in stamping, I call it first and second strength. So to do first strength, and then what you're going to do is go over to your paper and stamp that on the Whisper White. And I'm going to do that a couple times. So I'm going to put one down here near the bottom, and I'm going to do a couple more strands coming off the side here. It doesn't look like it's just floating in the water, and I do not want to get tangled up in it. So I'm going to do one more, I think, over right there. Okay, so the other thing that I want to do, as long as I have my Granny Apple Green and the seaweed open, I'm going to go to my inside and stamp. So this is when I'm stamping up some new foam ink pads. You definitely don't need to squish very hard, and you get plenty of ink on your stamp. And so I've just put a little seaweed on the inside. I definitely like to decorate my inside so it matches. Then what we have here next is Pretty Peacock ink. And we're gonna put our little dude right in the middle of the seaweed, like he's just hanging out, taking a nap. He's got this cool little home that he's hanging out in. And that's it for Pretty Peacock, because I've already stamped my sentiment there. Next, what we'll do is pull in our little fishies. I don't know if I like that word or not, because it's not grammatically correct, because fish is just fish. But when you say fishies, it makes it like you are being cutesy. So I think it's okay, right? So what you're also going to do for your little fish is you're going to stamp off, because look how dark they are. They're super dark, and I wanted them to be a little bit lighter than that, because when you stamp off and get them at second strength, you can still see them really good. And what we're going to do is put a few down. Oh, he didn't go really well. He went over there. We're going to put another one. And then I got some coming off the end over here. So it makes it, what I tried to do with this piece of paper is I tried to make it look like an aquarium that, you know, you've got water and you've got fish in it. And hi, Sue. Hi, Julie. So that is what we're doing on this piece. And our whale here. So in your kits, for those at home that got the to-go kits, I gave you a scrap of white paper. And on that white paper, I would stamp on there in Just Jade. You would stamp a whale. And I'm just going to demonstrate what it looks like for the whale, because the whale is super cool. We're going to stamp it right here just so you can see how cool he is. So there is your buddy. There's your big whale. And that is one of the new in colors that I used, and it's called Just Jade. And then what happens is either you can fussy cut out your whale, or you can take the punch that comes, oh, there you can see me in the punch. You can take this punch, and what you would do is flip it. I'm not going to do this, girl, so don't fret. You would, wherever your whale is punched or stamped, you're going to just take this, and then you're going to punch it out by squeezing it. And so I've already done my little guy here, and so he's ready to go. So let's get this ready for some final assembly. With our stitched hexagon, all I'm going to do is put a little bit of adhesive on the back side of the Whisper White piece, and make sure you got it facing the right direction. The other thing too, I don't know if you girls know this, if you're newer to stamping, when you die cut out something from like a Big Shot or the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which isn't out yet, but when you cut something, you end up with a rougher side and a smoother rolled side. The smoother rolled side is definitely geared towards the top because it looks nicer, and the rougher side is for the back, and it just feels rough. So now that I've got that glued on here, I'm gonna take my dimensionals. Hi, Pat. I'm gonna take the dimensionals and prep the back of my hexagon. I'm gonna put 5 of them on there. I like my spacing for my dimensionals to be about 1 inch apart, something like that. We're gonna look at this guy right here. And now, I didn't center this because remember I was trying to be conservative with the DSP so I could get 4 pieces. And so I'm not gonna center this. Now, if you're at home and you want yours moved wherever you want, you can do whatever you want. I highly encourage changing the cards to make them yours. So what I'm doing while I'm putting this on here is I was trying to center left to right and then top to bottom. then lastly, we have Free Willy here. Hi, Rhonda. And we're going to put a couple dimensionals on our buddy here. And let's see, his little tail has one too. So there's something called mini dimensionals, and then we have the big dimensionals. So the mini dimensionals come in really handy when you have a smaller area that needs to be popped up. So our little guy's just cruising through. He's about to hit a massive load of seaweed, and he might get all tangled up and caught in it. So let's hope not. Let's hope for the best. Hi. Hi, Tony. So here you go. We're not done though. We got to glue our inside in, and we are going to just put a little adhesive or liquid glue tape runner on the back of that and flip this in the card. Now the outside says, what does it say? It says you're kind of a big deal. So I would definitely, you can make this a birthday card. You can make it a congratulations card. You can make this one whatever you want it to be. Last but not least, on this card, we have the whale. They're called Whale of a Time sequins. And they are full of lots of fun in here. There are shells and just different colors of blues and like aquatic-y looking sequins. And so I'm just gonna take my take your pick tool. It has a little putty end on one side. And so I'm gonna grab a few dimensionals. I'm definitely gonna grab myself one of these shells because the shells are super cool. They are iridescent. Oh, I don't know if I can get this up here. Let's get it. So they're iridescent pink shells. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, they kind of shimmer and glimmer, and they are pretty cool. So we're gonna put one of those in there, and then we're gonna grab maybe this one right there. And so I've got those set. So for those that got card kits from me, just know you have 3 floating sequins in your kit. So be careful when you are opening it up, not that they fly all over the place. So Paper Pumpkin, if you get that, it's a monthly subscription. They have these little glue dots that are perfect for the backs of your sequins, and that paper just picks right off, and then you can put them on here. So I know Bonnie absolutely hates these sequins, so whenever she gets them, she donates them to the community glue dot section at my house so that when people come to class and they don't have the glue dots, they can use these. So we're gonna put one right there. Oh, it didn't go, did it? Oh, yes, it did. Why? Oh, I have it on my finger. So let's get our little shell. These things are little. I'm sorry. Like, it pays to have nails. If you don't like this, you could always use liquid glue and put a little dot of liquid glue down. But there, the struggle was there. Hi, Nancy. But we got through it just fine. And look at that card. Girls, I gotta say, girls and boys, we have one done already. Like a fun, simple layout. So when you see a card like this, don't just think, oh, that's how that card looks. Consider a different designer series paper that you have at home, and consider a different ribbon that you have, and some other layering for some sort of a background, and then something that's floating through here like that. So just like when I see cards, I think of what other stamp sets or paper can I use with that layout of the card. And this, I'll tell you, is a very simple, easy layout for a card to make. Like if you're in a rush and you need something fast, layer, a little ribbon around, and then some layers and some stamping. So I'm giving myself an applause, girls. Yeah, I'm all by myself, but I'm always with you here. So if you like that card, give me some love too and a little shout out, because I had so much fun making that card for you. All right, here's what I have next. Thanks, Francie. I appreciate that. Next, we have here our Pampered Pets. So let's pull out the catalog. And so if you're wondering where the Pampered Pets, so all of the sweets are on the first page here, page number 1. And then you can find the number really quick. So page 40. Oh, thanks for the hearts, girls. All right, I have to say, and boys, or if I should just be general and say guys, because I've had a couple guys joining me recently. So here's the Playful Pets suite of products. You have page 40 and 41, and then the next page. There's not many things in this suite, actually. You have your bundle, which is the stamps and the dies. You have your paper, this ribbon combo pack, and your trinkets. So here are the papers. They're down here. And they're odd to me. They're well, not odd, I shouldn't say. They're hard to work with for me because you have all these sheets that have these random, they're not random, they're dogs. And then you have cats. But you've got like grumpy cat face here. Like, what's up with you, cat? And then you got like little primpy cat over here going on. And then you got a cute cat. And so when you do a class with animals like this where they're all different, you don't know what you're going to get. So I'm just disclaiming that if you got an online kit from me, I did not give you all the same dog. So you got random dogs or cats, and I did ask you if you wanted cats or dogs. So just know that I had to cut these apart in terms of circles to give you a different cat or a dog. If you flip the page here, you have the stamp set shown at the bottom, and there are dies to match what's in blue here. So these two animals, and then there's a little paw print die. The paw print die I think is the coolest thing in the book. And I don't know if you can see it on this card right here, but there's paw print going all the way across the top. That's from the dies. Those are super cool. So, and I have a close-up here too, just to show you, this is how the paper looks. So in this case, like when I did the sampler, some of you guys got your cut-off cats. Some got heads, some got butts. That's just how it worked. And then on the same thing happened with the dogs. And these are the colors that coordinate with this suite of products. And these are the double-sided. Here, each one of these, they go as a pair. So this is the Playful Pets suite of products. And the card here is a shout out to Kathy Miller. She sent me a beautiful swap card using this layout. And I completely cased it. Casing is copying and sharing it. And so I completely cased it to make this card for you guys for this class. So let's grab our kit so we can get all of our bits and our pieces. And I gotta make sure I had everything in here. Yes, Kathy, I should just say guys. I should. It just would make it simpler because otherwise I find myself saying girls and then, oh, and guys, like as an afterthought. So you're right. Okay, guys, you doing good? There you go. So here we go. We have our black card base. So let's get my little notes out here so I can tell you all my measurements. Okay, the black card base is just a quarter sheet of paper. It's 5.5 by 4.25. Boom, that's it. Just cut it into a quarter. It's like a postcard size. Then you have your traditional mat here. The traditional mat is your 4 by 5.25. And it's going to be super tough to see this, but you can kind of see it there. It's embossed with the subtle embossing folder. It's so subtle that sometimes in class, people don't catch that and they put their whole card together. And I'm like, oh no, you forgot to emboss. And it's like, oh well, it's done already. Then you have a piece of black, and this measures 8.5 by 3.25. It is scored in the middle here. Hi, Joanna. And it's scored in the middle here at 4.25. So just all you're going to do with this piece is take it and fold it in half and use your bone folder to burnish the edges. That's kind of ready to go. You have a piece of white, and you also have a piece of red. These are the same size. They're 3 by 4. One's for the outside, and that's the red mat, and then you have one for the inside. And then if you got a dog card, so I'm making the cat card tonight, but the dog card had corresponding dog things on here. So there was a dog dish, but then there was stuff that, like a bone, I think, and some other things that more correlated to the dog. So for the cat, though, this is what it looks like. And this piece of paper is 2 13/16 times 3 13/16. And that's going to go right on our piece of red. Then everybody should have a piece of black, which measures 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. You'll have a piece of white that's already die cut. Angela, I love to say it, we've got stitching going on. These are in my top 5 as well for dies that I love. This is the Stitched Shapes dies. I would have to say these are my number 1 die. They have a mixture of ovals, circles, and squares with 4 different sizes, and they match very nicely with the layering ovals, layering circles, and layering squares that Stampin' Up! Sells. So here's that cut out, and that fits very nicely onto the piece of basic black. Then everybody has a piece of red that measures 3 1/8 by 1 3/4 by 3, I believe. So I've punched everybody that got the to-go kits. I've done the punching for you, but I wanted to show you how I did it. So this is a new punch that's available. It's called Pick Your Punch. I don't think that's right, but that's close. Pick something, pick a label punch or something. I can look it up if you really want me to, but I'm sure it's something like that. There's two different two different designs on here. One that's more flat on the end and one that's more bubbly. And I use the more flat one. You have to be very careful. To open up a punch, you just squeeze that down and into the punch, and that opens the punch so that you can use it. I like to use my punches from the back side. I do not trust myself using them from the front. So there are 3 tracks in each one of these. The first track is a 1/2 inch, then you have 3/4 of an inch, and then 1 inch. And that's the same on both of them. So you can really nicely glide your paper in those tracks and get them all the way up to the front. So this is where I like to watch what I'm doing, because if you're not watching, you could easily end up with it being a little crooked and off to the side. So as I punched this, I did have it go flush all the way to this edge here, and then you punch it. And it ends up punching, let's see if I can get on the white there. There, you can see it. And it punches it really nicely. And then you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Make sure that you're in your track and that you're lined up between these 2 ends and punch it. And there you have that ready to go. Same thing with the white. You're gonna stay in that same set here, but now because it's 3/4 of an inch, you're gonna fit in the other track like that. And now it's gonna punch it just a little bit skinnier. And so you've got that one now. So flip it over and do the other side. So you have to be careful that you're not, so I don't know if you can see me, I'm struggling a little bit as I'm wiggling back and forth like that. And I just want to get it right where it needs to go. And so now that is, I had them cut perfectly that if you just pushed them all the way to the end, that you would be set. So that's the Pick a Label punch, I'm guessing. So the catalog's new, girls. I don't have everything memorized quite yet. And so that's ready to go. Now, here's my happy cat with its really pointy toes. It's crazy feet. And so I already fussy cut this, so you didn't have to watch me do that. Okay, so that's all. This is ready to go now. But we will do let's do our stamping first. So grab your piercing mat. Let's see here. Nope, I'm not going to, because the stamps for this one are red rubber. So I'm going to just use my stone here. And this was, I gotta show you, that was the die that I used out of that set. I am gonna be pulling in my Memento ink here and take the cover off. And so you could, I have 2 different choices for sets or sayings here. I hope your day is a real treat, or always in your heart, so sorry for your loss. Both of those fit in there, but I am going to go with I hope your day is a real treat. And then it can be a birthday card. So what I'm going to do though is just grab my piece of white to have as a mat. I like that punch too, Diane. It's a good one. So when it comes to stamping, I always like to have practice. So I'm practicing on the bottom edge of my paper here to see how straight the stamp is. And whoa, it's straight. I'm going to go for it, girls. With punches, you can punch stuff and you can generally stamp on both sides if you don't like the way it stamps. And this is super hard because I can't see the end of the paper. So I'm going to take the white off and we're going to hope and guess and pray that we got this all right. So let's see here. Oh yeah, girls, look at that. We got her good. So, and somehow I got ink over there. Do good in one spot, not good in the other spot. So we're going to take the back side of this, flip it over, and I'm going to put the little dish on the bottom right-hand side. Remember, I like to decorate stuff in the inside. There's a little mouse in this one as well, so you can put the little dude on the bottom here. And then, I don't know, let's see what I got going on here for a stamp for happy birthday. I have this birthday wishes. I have butterfly wishes down here, and I'm actually going to take and use the butterfly wishes. Not butterfly wishes. We're going to use here, and it's going to say birthday wishes. And again, girls, I am such a firm believer in practicing how to stamp to make sure it's straight, because sometimes there's trickery with stamps and they are not straight I'm going to take this out of the way again. Lovely Labels bundle and called Pick a Punch. You rock, Francie. Thanks for confirming that. We appreciate it. Oh man, it's still a little crooked, but that's okay. Not so bad. All right, so that's what we have for stamping. Now I believe we are ready to rock and assemble. Rock and roll here, girls. Let's get a little bit of my mess out of here. So we're going to flip that over and flip that one over. So when you are assembling cards at home, sometimes it's easier to glue two things at the same time so that you are not opening and shutting your things. So my DSP goes on the real red piece over here. And what I love about the liquid glue is I can wiggle it around, wiggle a little bit until I get it where I want it. And then our white piece goes on the inside. Now, if you're going to glue a couple things at the same time, just be careful not to put your papers in the glue or accidentally forget that you glued it and then you get glue all over the place. So that's just a little trick there for you. So that is going to get glued and this is going to get glued. So let's put both of those so that they're ready. So I don't know if you girls in Fond du Lac live near the fairgrounds, but I can hear that there's a fair going on right now. I live 1 block from the Fond du Lac County Fairgrounds, and they must have some music going on over there. I don't know if they're like, I guess what, they don't have any big grandstand acts, but they have, I think, local bands playing, and I hear people cheering, and I hear music being played. How exciting, yay. Now what we're gonna do is glue this one and this one together. And a little bit of liquid glue here. We did nothing with this white square. It's good the way it is. And this one's ready to get put onto here. So when I eyeball, I start in the top corner, I work myself to the right, and then I go down. And I just like to make sure that my margin is the same all around. And I do the same thing on this one. Oh, Denise loves the Playful Pets paper. Sometimes you get hairs from die cutting. I call them hairs. They're like paper that's just barely sticking on the edge. And I like to scrape that off. There we go. Yeah, they kept the Fond du Lac County Fair going this year. Like half of it is canceled. Like there's no grandstand acts. There's no tractor pull. There's really not a lot of stuff to it. It's very small. I don't even think there's any food or concessions. I have no idea if there's beer sales, but literally I'm a 2-minute walk from there, so I might walk over and just see what's going on. Hi, Wendy. So now what we're doing is we're gluing this on here. I have to disclaim this to you guys. Watch this. Okay. This cat is facing this way, and look at it though. This is so, okay. Some of the animals are lefties and some are righties, and you'll get what I mean. Like this cat is facing this way, and that cat is facing that way. And so some of your animals, you may want to swap how you orientate your card. So in this case, you may want to put it over here and put your square there and your sentiment here if your animal is facing that way. Now, this cat's a little bit unique because the cat is actually, it actually looks kind of cute that way. But I'm also thinking that if I flip-flop this, then my label might fit better. Like, watch this. It's all about how you orientate cards. So like this might fit better. Like she's actually walking on the label like that. And I don't know what it's looking at, but it's looking that way. So I think instead of doing that, yeah, I'm going to go this way. So you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm going to flip this over onto the right side. And my glue is probably pretty tacky now, so I don't have a lot of wiggle room. So I'm going to move that so that it's flush like that. All right. Hi, Kathy. Then this, oh, this is the ribbon in the Baker's Twine combo pack. That's part of this set. So it's a black and white intertwined, and then there's a red and white one. And this was, I gave everybody 9 inches, and I'm going to be stingers with myself just to make sure I have enough here. So grab the ribbon scissors, and we're going to cut that here. So I wish I had a buddy here because this is where it's good to have a Stampin' Buddy to help you tie this. See if you watch me struggle a little bit. See if I get this on my first try. There, I took my scissors and then I poked that in there while I'm holding it. Okay, so we got our ribbon tied. Now that is definitely not in the right spot, but that's quite all right because we are going to MacGyver it up here where we want it. So this is going to come up right about, yes, Kathy, this set is awesome. I love it too. So that's going to go right about there. And then we have to move our ribbon over. So here's how I do this. On this side, I grab it and I pull it that way. And then the top I grab and I pull that way. Don't try to pull only one because you will put creases or bends in your paper. So now that's pretty much centered where I want it. And our little kitty cat is going to go over yonder here. And then that's going to go right about, like it's going to have its foot like it's standing on the label. I love it. Okay, so now here's my trick for putting this on. You want to be careful that you do not put adhesive right here because you do not want to shut the card. So how I do this is I put a piece of a dimensional there, and I put one there. And then what I'll do is put one on the way right side here. Whoops, I got a hot mess going there. And one here. So in essence, I'm not going to go over then. So I have this side covered and I have this side covered. Okay, so now what you're going to do is just adhere that onto the card where you want. I'm just trying to eyeball it. It's always good to have a sample. Oh my gosh, you girls. So last night I felt really bad because somebody was making the mystery card with me and she wanted to see, you could be watching too, but I felt really bad for whoever this was because she wanted to see the sample of the card I was trying to explain how to make. But that was the whole point of it, is that it was a mystery card. And so you had to be creative on your own and envision it in your own head. And it was really hard because here I'm always looking at the sample that's next to me to copy the card. So, all right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of prep where our cat is going to go right about there and our label is going to go here. So if you see here, or if you remember, I have dimensional here. So I do not want to put two dimensionals behind this. I only am going to put one on this side, and then I'm going to put some liquid glue only at the top there because the top is going to catch that white piece that's behind the cat. And I have it centered in between, like, so the ends up being the length of the DSP. Okay, so you can see I'm matching it up on that end and on this end. And so now we've got that. Hi, Jenny Brenner. So we can pop up our cat as well. So I'll put two, I don't know what I'm going to do, 2 dimensionals, 3 dimensionals. I grabbed a big one, and then I grabbed a couple small ones. We're going to take those. Now, this is going to go, so here's what I like to do. I like things to be a little bit grounded. So you'll find often that I use adhesive on feet and the bottoms of things, and then I dimensionalize. I'm trying to get my glue out. Hi, Jolene. I'm trying to get a little glue out, and then I put their feet so they're going flat. But that top foot I didn't put glue on because that's going to just be riding on top of this label. So we're going to go something like that. So the cat's popped up, except for now what I did is I glued those feet flat. So the feet are actually planted onto the white piece of paper. All right, we're not done yet, girls. This is the best part. Oh my gosh. These trinkets are adorbsy. I love them so much. So these are the Playful Pets trinkets. There's 20 in here. You get 10 of the dog bone and you get 10 of the heart. And they are little lines on the back side and they're smooth finish on the front side. And so what we're going to do, because you could just put the heart on like that, but there's a hole. Hi, Avis. You have this set too. Awesome. There's a little hole here. And what I'm going to do is take a little snippet of the baker's twine. Because it's part of the suite, we should use it, right? Here's the trick for those at home. Do not try to go this way with it and try to make what I did here. I made this little thing that's just hanging on it like that. What you do is, starting with the heart on the top, what you do is push the ribbon through. So set the ribbon over the top, and then what you'll do is take your pick tool and start wedging the baker's twine through that hole. Once it starts to come through, take your tweezers or your nails and you're going to pull it so that you have a loop on one side and you have loose tails on the other side. You're going to take those loose tails and feed them through the eye hole. Like, I don't know if you can see me. I'm trying not to covered up so much, but you're going to take them and beat them through the eye hole and then pull so that that little loop is on the front. So if you try to push from the back, that little loop is going to be on the other side. So now we've got this cutesy little ribbon, baker's twine, attached to our beautiful heart. I love it. If you have a dog bone, then, or if you had a dog card, then you got a dog bone. And I'm going to take my snot dots here. They're AKA snot dots. They're mini glue dots. I'm going to take this because these are super duper gooey. And I'm going to put one of those right behind the back of the heart. And then that's what's going to secure our heart to the front of our card. I'm putting it off to the side here, just like that. And then grab your ribbon scissors and trim your tails slightly so that your threads are a little bit shorter. Oh, I love those hearts so much. Okay. Whoo, we did it, girls and boys, guys. We got 2 cats. And this is exactly what I wanted to show you, how just changing the setup it's like it's the mirror image, more or less. And so here the heart's on this side, here it's over here, and the cats are opposite. And then I did the ribbon backwards. And so just wanted to show you how you can change up cards and just make them look the same but different. How did you like that one? I saw so many people said that they have this Playful Pets suite. So that's awesome. I bought the stamp set, but I did not buy the dies. So here's the stamp set. I really liked what I liked out of it. It's really funny. You know, you buy a stamp set for like all of it or for just like one thing. It really doesn't matter about why you buy it, but I really picked out the stamp set because I liked these sentiments, the butterflies, the hearts, and this little bowl here. Honestly, I don't whatever about that, but I mean, some people love that and that's good. Everybody likes different things, but so I didn't buy the dies because I thought I could do so much stuff without even having the dies to go with it. So here's a perfect example of I used the stamp set without using the dies, just like I did with the snow globe set last week for the Christmas in July class. So wonderful, wonderful. All right. That's our second card, girls. Oh my gosh, we're over half done already. So we've got 2 done and we have our weed card left. You girls probably think I'm bad. It's our dandelion card. It's a weed, right? Well, I know any plant that is growing anywhere where you don't want it is a weed. Even if it's a beautiful flower. If you don't like it, you'll think it's a weed. So, all right. So here we go. We have this card right here. And my customer, Lori Kaiser, said to me, Chris, where is this stamp set? We looked I'm trying to find the card for you because I want to show you, girls. I case things out of the catalog to get ideas. Denise, you're gonna love all this stuff. You know, those dies actually do cut out some of the paper, the designer series paper. So bear with me, girls, for just 1 second. Well, so there's beautiful samples all through this entire catalog. And you know, you can honestly look through. I like that the style of the card different. Yep, I like it too, Susan. I tell you, I can look through this catalog 20 times. And I will see something the 20th time and be like, whoa, how did I not see that the other 20 times? And so here's a card. And my customer said to me, she came, Chris, how did they do that? Where's the stamp set? And I looked and I looked and I looked and I thought it was the Queen Anne's lace and it wasn't that. And it's like, wow. And so finally she came to me a week later and she's like, oh, I really like that dandelion folder. What can you make with that? And we put it together by those 2 bits of piece of information that this is the dandelion embossing folder. And it's so cool what it does to the vellum paper. So I thought it would be super cool. So I cased this card, meaning copy and share it. And I made this for our class card for the monthly class for July. And I didn't change much on it. I just changed the banner sentiment. And I changed my bow up slightly. They used the gold and I used the linen thread just because you get more linen thread in a pack of paper. And I usually do about 36 kits for this class. So there you have it. So that's what we're going to be making tonight is this one. And oh my gosh, girls, you're gonna have to give me a second. I wanted to show you this in class actually, and I didn't remember that when I was prepping these cards. So You're going to have to hold for me for a minute because I have a piece of vellum here and I wanted to show you in class. I remember this now. I want to show you in class how to emboss this and how cool it looks. So I have to run and get it though. It's in my other room, so I got to go run and get the Big Shot. You're going to have to give me 30 seconds while I run my little fanny over there quick. Hang on. Okay, how did you, was it 30 seconds? Okay, I'm back. Okay, so as long as I'm at it, I grabbed all the embossing folders that we used tonight. This was the seabed one. Isn't that gorgeous? And then here's the subtle one. And so those were what we used on the two previous cards. Okay, so now we have the dandelion card and they're the embossing folder. So I wanted to do this in front of you so you could be like, ooh and ah. Honestly, I had this with my, hi Jody, I had this class, hi Melissa, I had this class with my club on Monday night and I think 3 people bought this embossing folder. So you're embossing, so you're going to put the paper in here like so, and I want to make sure I do it right. So when you are embossing, one of my tricks is feel the inside. This is the raised up side is going to push the paper up into the inverted side over here. And so you're going to take your vellum cardstock, so it's a thicker vellum, and place that on in the embossing folder. So that's how it's going to look. And then this is the New Dynamic folder, and so I have to use the blue plate that Stampin' Up! Had. And Arliss, you got it. Yes, it's, oh my God, watch this. Okay, so rolling it through here. So one time, and this is magical. It's magically delicious, girls. Okay, so watch this. When you open up this folder, it does that to the paper. Is that not like the coolest thing in the whole wide world? Embossing these flowers in vellum. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I just wanted you to see that because it is the most amazing thing. Okay, so after that, there's really not much else that goes into this card. There's only one stamp here, and it's the first sentiment. Oh, I love it. It feels so cool. It imprints on the paper, basically. All right, so we have our colors. This is Seaside Spray. Seaside Spray, it's 8.5 by 5.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. Line up your corners so they are even. Grab your bone folder, burnish the edge here, and make sure you flip it around so you got it the right way. You can tell I'm a righty, so I always fold it that way. So that is our base, and then we'll have our vellum there. This piece of old olive, let's see here what size that is. Oh, I choose to remember everything so good. And now the old olive is 1/2 inch by 4. So that goes here. Oh my gosh, girls. I should have remembered I don't have the old olive markers, so I'll have to run and get them too real quick. So we have, this is the ribbon from the old olive, the ornate ribbon combo pack in old olive. So those will be going over the top of that. I have here a little baby bow, and I used my awesome sauce bow maker, and I just used the nails in here, and I made a teeny tiny baby bow. So that'll go on the end. And then, hi Hillary. Hillary, I think that you won a card from a previous class that I did. So if you could email me your address, I will pop that card in the mail for you. Also, I believe that Joanna, if you're still watching, I also have a card from you from, I think, the ornate class. So you girls, if you send me your addresses, I will pop those cards in the mail if you want them. So here's a piece of linen thread. So linen thread comes on a roll like this. It's so much fun to add this to a card. So that's that. And then what I've got here is a scrap, girls and boys. You've got white here, and it is 5/8 by 3. And then all I did is I stamped it in old olive, and I took my scissors and I just went at a diagonal with it and prepped it. So the sentiment that I have on here, it is from Itty Bitty Birthdays. It says here, birthday wishes. So what I did is I stamped that in the old olive color already. So some things I like to prep ahead and some things I guess I don't. So that one's ready to go for us. Then on the inside here, I was like, what would be really pretty to put on here? So I had the butterfly wishes, and there is this butterfly here, and I stamped that. This is the butterfly. So I stamped that in the Seaside spray so that that is at the top. Now, because this is a birthday card, I actually wanted to show you something. I got this new stamp set just recently. It's called Best Year. And there's a really pretty saying in here that says, wishing you your best year yet. And I haven't put this together yet. So I wanted to show, for some of you that are newer, how you put stamps together when you get them. So there's this cut right through the middle. And what I do, this is how I put them together. I take off the 2 pieces of wax paper. You're going to pop out, wishing you this one. You're going to pop out the stamp, peel off. I did that really fast. You're going to peel off that paper like that. And then this is where you got to get it good. You kind of have to just eyeball it the best that you can. And once it goes down on here, it's down. I don't know if my nose is even in the camera, but I get my eyeball right up in there so I can see where I'm laying this. So once you have it laid on here like that, then that picks off. And I keep this piece of paper because I'd like to put my stamps right back on this piece of paper. So, sounds good, Hillary. Once you get it off to me, I'll know where to send it to. So then what we're going to do is grab a block here. These just pull off like that. And then this is going to be stamped, wishing you. I'm going to put it right kind of nestled up by the butterfly. And I'm going to do it in Old Olive. Hi, Kate. So here's this. And again, girls, what do I like to do? Grab your scratch paper here. And you're going to practice. So we're going to get this stamped. Let's see how straight that is. Oh, see, that's really crooked to me. Oh my gosh. Maybe the third time's a charm. It's like you almost got to hold it. Wow, really crooked like. So that's why I practice first. And then we hope that we get it right. So I feel like it's something like that. Yep, that'll work for me. So I love it how the butterfly is flying right into it. So I tried to find something to match from the outside of the card to the inside. So what we're going to do is put a little bit of glue on here. And we're going to adhere this inside the card. I know we've got that all ready to go there, but let's just get this in here. And that'll be set. Now, what we have to do is give Chris 30 seconds. I gotta get the marker for that. Hang on. So I had this class on Monday, so I have everything sitting in my classroom right now. So in class, I gave everybody the different markers. These are blends. These are alcohol markers. You have light mossy meadow, light old olive, and I also threw in there dark old olive. So I think for this card, what I'm going to do is the light old olive. And you want to flip it over. So when you color on vellum, it's better to color from the back. And all you need to do is just trace the backs of the leaves and the stems with the green. And when you do that, what it does is it puts color behind there. And actually, I'm feeling like the dark one might have been a better option because maybe we'll see it a little bit more through the vellum like that. So we're just going to color this quick. So blends are primarily used for coloring and shading and blending, but in this case, there's really not much to blend or shade or color. If you would use a water-based marker, it would never color on this vellum very good. It would not soak into the paper and dry. The water-based marker would smear right off. So that's why you want to use a blend or a permanent marker for coloring on the back side of the vellum. So I'm using the fine tip as well because the fine tip really allows me to be precise on where I'm coloring this. And because it's vellum, it's a lot smoother of a paper. So I'm just kind of drawing in these leaves real quick here. So that's the last one. Okay. So now we got a little assembly to do. We have a little assembly. So here's what I got. This green piece, I I did it, it's my sacrificial lamb. I did it to provide some stability and structure to wrap my tails around. So all I'm going to do is put a little thin line of liquid glue on this green piece. So this is kind of like the whale card where we have a skinny little strip that we're just using to help with assembly. And here's this. Yeah, absolutely, Angela. Could you Stella these guys? Yes. Go crazy. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Stella is a girl's best friend, and she got called out. Look at that. She was slacking. The last two cards, I didn't even use her at all. So I don't know if you can really see. Let's see if you can see any of that sparkle on there. Oh, maybe not so much. They just look so cool. So there we've got our little strip of old olive on. Now, I'm going to grab my tear and tape again, and I'm going to prep the back here by putting this tear and tape on the back of the card, and so that it has something for my ribbon to attach onto. So I was just trimming that so it's straight. So take off the papers. And now what you're going to do is line up one of the old olive ribbons near the top and fold your tail over, and then line it up on the front and fold your tail over. And you're going to do the same thing on this other one, just right below it. So I cut your piece of green to be a 1/2 inch because each of these ribbons is a 1/4 inch. Love the Wink of Stella, me too. So now what we'll do is, so I've got these tucked behind, I'm going to put a little bit of the tear and tape right over the top of them, because remember, we're creating our ribbon sandwich. Now though, it's really hard to see on here, but I did add a little bit of linen thread around here as well. So to get that linen thread on here though, we do need a little adhesive near the top of this. So I know this might be picky for you, but just trust me that it'll make sure that it doesn't come off. This one, I happen to get a little bit of adhesive there. So take your ribbon, your linen thread, and now you're gonna secure that right over the top of the green, in the front on the top of it, and then tie it over. I'm not gonna go and put a little more tape on here. I'm gonna leave it just like that. Okay, so now you're wondering, how do we put this down? So because these dandelions are so white, you really can't see glue through them. So I'm gonna put a couple little circles of glue there, and then I'm gonna run glue behind this strip of green and call it good for the day. So I don't like to put glue all around vellum where you can see it. So now this gets adhered to the front of the card base like that, and squish it down good. Okay. So far so good. Are you girls and guys doing good? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. We're almost done with our third card. Let me clean this little hot mess up over here. Now we're gonna do our little label. So I do notice that I don't generally like to put glue or adhesive underneath ribbon, but because there's a label here, I like to do it so that it keeps it flat. So I'm just gonna put one mini glue dot right underneath there to hold this one down right in the middle, and then I'm gonna put one underneath this one just to hold that one flat. So I've got that prepped, and now comes time for our label. And I'm gonna put the label right about there, and we're going to cut off this ribbon. Let's do this one. I'm gonna trim this a little bit shorter, just so there's a little less white hanging off the side. And how I put this on, when you have your dimensionals, you have these sides that don't generally get used. I don't know if some of you throw them away, but I never throw them away. I like to save them for times like this. So I cut this little side bit off, and I'm gonna use that on the top of this label. And I'm only gonna do the top because it was really weird. There's a height to this ribbon, not as much as the dimensional, but enough that you add height to the front, and then I'm gonna put tear and tape on the bottom or you could definitely use liquid glue. So I'm just gonna grab the tear and tape, and we're gonna put that along the bottom, and then this is prepped for us. And so now it's a foam on the top and flat on the bottom. And let's see, did I take that off? No, I didn't, haha. So then this will go right about here. So I left a little green showing on the side and a little green here. And now because we secured our ribbon down, otherwise it would be floppy on the top. It's popped up on the top, flat on the bottom, but it really, you can't tell that it's not both popped up because the ribbon provides some height. Then what you'll do is grab your glue dots again, one more time. We were glue dot happy tonight. And you're gonna put a glue dot right near that top edge, and you're gonna stick that little baby bow right into it, and grab your ribbon scissors, trim your tails, and we're almost ready to the final finale of this card, the butterflies. So these butterflies are part of the In Color from last year that is rolled over one more year. There's Purple Posy, Rococo Rose, Seaside Spray, Terracotta Tile, and Pretty Peacock. We just used it. And there's a big one and a little one. And you get, I think, 10 of each. And so when you got this kit from me, everybody got different ones. I tried to give everybody an assortment of, some people got this collection, some people got a different collection. So I tried to mix and match them. So I'm going to grab a Pretty Peacock one from the bottom here. We're going to put that one, where should I put that one? Maybe over here. And then I'm going to grab a Purple Posy one here. And I don't know. I don't know, do you girls struggle putting this kind of stuff on cards too? It's like I never know quite where to put it. And we're going to do a Rococo Rose. Hi, Karen. So we're going to put the Rococo. You got to be careful to get the little bit of glue or goo that's underneath them. I'm going to put one over there. So, and then we're going to bring this one down there. Maybe we're not, because the adhesive stuck exactly where it was. So we're going to keep it right there. So, all right. Those butterfly gems are super cool. They just came out in the new annual catalog this, last month in June. So, all right, how'd we do, girls? Was that good? It's such a pretty card. Look at how that detail is with those, that embossing folder is so, so precious. It just feels cool too. So there you go. We got 3 cards done. And Angela, did you put your cards? Did you get your cards all together while you were watching? I don't know. That would be awesome. Diane, did you get your cards together? Or are you just watching? So I love it when you girls are able to get your cards together that you do for the online class. So, all right. So that concludes our card making for the night. So let me flip that back over. How did you girls do? Did you like them? Yay, Susan loves it. Yay. And then Juliet loves the Wink of Stella. I love. So Bonnie, if you're still watching, Bonnie loves the Wink of Stella a lot. So I love it. I'm getting some hearts. That's awesome. So what I want to do quickly too before the end of class is I have little notes here. So I want to tell you the upcoming classes I have. So not many here because I have next week's class here, and this is called the Flowers for Every Season class. Thanks, Francie. I appreciate it. This is using the Celebrate Sunflowers and the, what is it? The Jar of Flowers bundle. And we'll make these 4 cards. So for tonight's ordering incentive, like I did for last night, if you place a $35 order with me, you get the 4 card kits for free, and I'll mail them to you as well. And just remember, right now it's Stampin' Up's bonus days. So if you place a $50 order, you will also get a $5 coupon from Stampin' Up. Thanks for sharing, Sue. So this one's a cool fun fold. It flaps down. I got the little lemonade. There is definitely a vodka lemonade in that jar right there. And then we'll also get to use the jar shaker. So yay. So that's next week live. And then, oh my gosh, can you believe it? We're already to the end of the month in 2 weeks from tonight, and we'll be making the paper pumpkin. What? How does that happen? It's already going to be, the last week of July. It just blows my mind. So that's what's next Thursday, and then the following Thursday. And then we start over in August. Wow. Okay. So for tonight, the ordering special is place a $35 order, get those for free. Now, if you are interested in the kits for the class I did tonight, I have a couple or 3. I have to count for sure, but I know I have 2 sets that are extra, because what I do is I make my kits in multiples of 4, and I always pick a date that I'm going to put them together, and then I forecast how many people might sign up. So I still have 2 or 3 sets that are unaccounted for. So if you are wanting these kits, I will also do the same ordering special. If you place a $35 order with me, then I will mail those kits to you too, and I'll need to know if you want a cat or a dog. And that's how that will work. So yay. What else, girls? It feels like we just talked yesterday, so I don't know if I have much more. So I announced the winners for the newsletter. So if you didn't watch last night, the newsletter winner was Karen Forward, and Tammy Sokolick and Denise Bednarik both won. They tied for first place on the scavenger hunt. So they both got 17 correct. So they each scored themselves a $10 gift certificate with me. So wonderful. Yay. I get excited over little things, girls. So, all right. I don't know. Do you girls have anything else for me? I feel like, wow, it's only 7:20. I really cruised through those cards. But you know what I'm going to be doing now for probably the next 5 hours is working on insulation. I told Tyler that I would put all the batting up in the mudroom, which is probably about 20 bats up. And I need to do all of the mineral wool. Have you ever worked with mineral wool? Oh my gosh, itchy, not good. So I have to go put on long sleeves and long pants and wear gloves. And I gotta so mineral wool is a sound bearing plus insulation. And that's gonna go in the common wall of the she shed and the garage, so that when Tyler is using his compressor and all of his power tools, he doesn't want to be all loud and obnoxious for us. So we're putting sound bearing insulation in that wall. So I'm going to be working on that and finishing up the rest of the she shed insulation. So, and then guess what, girls? Up at 6 a.m. for the fabulous used stamp sale. So just if anybody who's watching here has anything in the sale for sale, and I've been keeping it time after time, just know that after this sale, if you want anything, you got to let me know, or I will also let you know that I have it, because it's going to go back to you. So you're going to start storing your own things now. So you're very welcome, Francie. Well, on that note, I think that I will be leaving you, and I hope that you have a wonderful, fabulous rest of your week and enjoy the weekend. It is no walking to the fair, Fancy. I don't think so. I thought about it, but the fair will go on all weekend. So I think that I'll save it for maybe Saturday night when we're done working for the weekend. Well, for the work week. So like there's just so much going on. So yeah. So on that note, girls, I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. And I will see you here live Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, which is my time. And we will be making those 4 jar cards next Thursday. So lots of sunshine and happiness to you. Love and hugs, and I'm going to miss you between now and next week. So hang in there and make it a good week, and we'll be back in a week. So, all right, bye, everybody. Love ya.